Hi there. I have a Honda HR173 mower. I have just replaced the piston rings and have reassembled the motor. I have checked the valve clearances and the timing marks line up. The mower starts up sometimes, but has very low revs, and any movement on the throttle kills the engine. I have taken the spark plug out, and it has been wet with fuel. I'm assuming it is flooding. I think the throttle linkage and the governor settings are all wrong, including the adjustment screws, stoppers, on the linkage. Do you have any idea as to what the correct/standard settings are for all of these items? The spring from the governor to the throttle linkage falls off when I throttled down to kill the engine.
Hello, make sure choke closes fully and is wide open when cable is in detent when backed off. Have you tried to adjust the governor? See section 3 in the manual I am sending. GV100. Here is a picture or two that might help. Full-size image. Full-size image.
Hi there, Vince. Hi there, Vince. I tried playing with the governor, but the little spring that holds onto it halfway up keeps falling off. The manual that you sent was for a GV100. I'm sure that the method to set the governor is the same though. I tried to adjust the governor arms so the spring doesn't. Sorry, accidentally pressed enter. I have tried adjusting the governor, but either the spring comes off, or the connecting bar across the top is too long to get the thing in. Are you able to show me a diagram of the governor so I can see where the springs go? I know there is one on the top, where the connecting rod to the choke throttle is, but there is a second spring about halfway up the governor that keeps slipping off. I want to make sure I am hooking that up at the right spot. I have just come back from trying a few things out. I have adjusted the governor as instructed in the manual you sent, thank you, but the throttle seems to be always fully opened. No matter where put the throttle cable, the throttle remains open. It would seem the governor keeps it opened. Is that the way it's supposed to be? Hey Vince, are you there?
Hello, I got your response and am looking for a better picture for you.
Thanks.
Please give me a few minutes.
Sure. It's getting a little late here, 10:30 p.m., and I have an early start in the morning. If you can post your pictures, I'll take a look at them tomorrow and give it another shot. If your pics can include the adjusting screws at the bottom of the mechanism as well, that would be great. Are you also able to look into the fact that the throttle is being kept open by the governor? What closes the throttle on the carby?
You should have a slow speed position, you may have turned in one of the screws too far and it is keeping the throttle open. Control. If the idle screw on the carb is turned in too far, the throttle will not go to the slow position.
I have taken a couple of photos to demonstrate what's happening. This is a pic of when I have the lever, throttle, pulled all the way back. Hopefully, you can see the throttle and choke are both wide open. I have other photos of the governor and the spring that falls off, but I can't seem to load them. The arm that goes from the governor to the throttle holds the throttle in the open position. Is this correct? If so, when does it move off the fully open position?
With the engine not running, the throttle may still be wide open and the governor is supposed to manage the RPMs. Try sending a pic of the control where the cable connects. I don't have the complete workshop manual and they go for around $35. I can't seem to find a detailed picture either.
I'm sorry, but it just won't allow me to attach the photos. Very frustrating. I'll describe it to you. The connecting rod from the throttle goes to the governor together with a long spring that is around the rod. There is a spring halfway up the governor that is connected to the control by a flat panel that has 3 holes in it. It is in the middle hole. This is the spring that keeps falling off when I push the cable all the way in to stop the motor. I'm a little confused. Pulling the cable all the way out. Is that full throttle / high revs? How far do I need to pull the cable to start the motor? It would seem that the motor only starts when the choke is half open, and it doesn't run for long.
Is that spring stretched out of proportion? If not, move it to the hole furthest away and try. When you push the throttle lever forward onto choke, it should pull the cable and coke butterfly should be closed. When you pull back the lever to the detent, the choke should be open and throttle is at fast position. Vinso.41265.75720844954.
Hey there, Vince. I have managed to get all the springs onto the control to work fine now. The mower only starts and runs with the choke butterfly 3/4 closed. As soon as I try to open up the choke butterfly, it stalls. Does this mean it's too lean right now? If so, what do I need to do to make sure there is enough fuel getting into the combustion chamber?
The carb needs cleaned now. You need to remove the center nozzle and main jet to clean out all the holes with a fine wire. Clamp the fuel line and remove the sediment bowl under the fuel valve to check and clean it too. Take a picture first if needed. I have a carb manual I'll send. The site is having problems and won't let me upload manual at this time. Carb manual Vinso.41266.6638759722. Folder name, Carb Service Manual website link, http://email.mediafire.com/wf/click. Up equals HPHC1M6 Lu 2 Beesfield Quof 02 B2 FGFD 9 Tax 2 FR2 Fryu UFA 9 W2K2 Bu 4 C Zipdur 5 D1 SF9 Z7 R9 XB0 E1 Gizofung 3D _Jbeg 3 Cog 9 Z2 BKDLW Zrbzruk 5 IKJ BC GQWF Ditchix Pabu 4 2 F2 BQS2 Fo 2 5 H9 RTGG 62 FP UOGSG 9 Speaky Unkis XOMP5 Expo UE Zaglfi A2 is 1 W2T Ida Ag Brex G0K5 J GSB7 GHCQ AUX 2 FF 3D, Group of files.
Merry Christmas, Vince. I have torn down the carb, cleaned every part and gave it a good going over with compressed air. Put it together and installed it, and the motor will still only start with 3/4 to half choke closed. Every time I try to open the choke, it stalls. I have tried adjusting the pilot screw to make it a richer mixture, but to no avail. I haven't spent too much time on this, as it has been 40 degrees Celsius here, so it has been way too hot to work outside. What are the correct valve clearances? Are these set at TDC? Could this be the problem?
You poked a wire through every little hole? The float moves and is level or slightly up. Did you unscrew and check the fuel valve and sediment bowl? You check valve settings on TDC on the compression stroke. I'm running out of ideas but still believe it is a fuel/carb problem.
What should the valve gap be? I'll go through all the little holes with some really thin wire, but they all looked clear to me.
Here is some info on the valves from manual. If it starts easy, I'd say valves are okay. Valve info.
Okay. I have checked the valve clearances, and it would seem the exhaust valve has too large a gap. It would also seem that the adjustment shim is the largest one available. Does that mean a new valve? It wasn't starting easily, and I was given the wrong advice for the correct measurement position on the stroke before I spoke to you. The shop even checked the valve clearance. Is the aim to be at the top or bottom end of the range for the clearance?
I aim for the middle of the range, but as long as you within specs you should be okay. From the info you provided, it sounds like a new valve is needed. On another note, double check things first. Normally the gap decreases on the L-head style engines due to the valve face meshing with the valve seat and a wear ring around the valve itself.
I have double and triple checked. The gap is more than 0.6 larger than my desired gap. I have ordered parts and awaiting arrival. We'll let you know what happens once all is assembled.
Okay.
Okay, I have just taken delivery of some parts. I have replaced the valve, lapped it, and now both valves have a gap of 0.004 inch, which is spot on. I have torn down the carburetor and cleaned out every hole and orifice. I have replaced the pilot screw. I turned it out 2 3/8 turns as instructed by the manual that you sent me, GV100, thinking that would be the roundabout value to allow the motor to at least start and run. Unfortunately, it only runs for a few seconds and stalls. I have tried started with fully closed choke and open throttle, half open choke and fully open throttle, and fully open choke and open throttle, and none seem to work. I have checked for an air leak between the carb and inlet, and I am pretty certain there isn't one. This is starting to hurt my head. What advice do you have?
If you pull the hose off the carb and open the fuel valve, does the fuel flow freely? Are all of the gaskets, if removed, in good shape and installed correctly? Will it fire again for a few seconds when tried? Do you have a constant spark? http://www.boats.net/parts/search/Honda/lawn%20 mower/0 HR173%20 PDA%20 lawn%20 mower%2 C%20 USA HR173%20 carburetor/parts.html vinso.41296.8891746181.
The spark is constant and strong. I did have to adjust the spark plug gap though. Fuel seems to flow without restriction. I am fairly certain all gaskets are in good condition and installed correctly. The compression exceeds the recommended value in the manual. I had it running for a couple of minutes today with the choke half opened and the throttle fully open. This is the only time and setting that it would run. As soon as I touched the throttle in either direction, it would die out. When I tried to start it with these settings again, I could not. I got tired of pulling the cord. Any ideas?
Well, I am out of ideas, and not seeing the unit makes it tougher. To me, it still sounds a carb problem or air leak, or maybe a gasket on wrong. A new carb costs approx $60, but we don't know for sure if that is the problem. I think it's best if I opt out. Maybe someone else can input here and solve your problem. Good luck.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/ythi.